Good morning and welcome to Kansas City Public Schools Homeroom. I am Erica Mabian, the iSpark STEM coordinator with the CT department. Today we are going to talk about upper elementary infection detectives. So get ready for some fun learning experience today. A case for our junior scientists. Alright, so today we're going to investigate how to protect ourselves from germs and keep us healthy. At a time right now, I think that's extra important that we are extreme scientists that can do our infectious detection. For today's experiment, you're going to need some black pepper, some liquid soap, 2 small bowls, and a cup of water. So get ready, scientists. I'll give you some time to gather your things. Alright, so the objective today is to identify the disease agent that's causing the stimulated diseases to have an outbreak. Then we're going to use our scientific thinking for your student to deduce the likely source to prevent that infection. Can you guess what maybe will prevent our infection based on the things that we have on the table for our experiment? Can you think that maybe you have some ideas that can help you stop or prevent the spread of infections? I bet you have some ideas. Let's get started, scientists. All right, first we need to be ready with our vocabulary words. Our vocabulary words will help us talk like scientists, think like scientists, and act like scientists. So here's our first word. Our first word is infection. And that is when germs get inside your body and they get more and more, they multiply, and then they make you sick. It starts with one teeny tiny germ and then they multiply. They just keep making bigger ones and more of them. Next we have a germ. A germ is a microorganism. Think it's so tiny that you can't even see it. And it makes a person sick. There are 4 major kinds of our microorganisms or our germs. There are bacteria, viruses, fungi, and protozoa. We're going to talk about just about one of those today. Then we have a communicable disease. Our communicable diseases are infectious diseases that can spread between people to people. Maybe you have a pet or an animal, or maybe you're on a farm. And it happens when you touch it, or it may be airborne. So whatever around it, it will cause you to become sick. Now, let's talk about germs. Where are germs? Here's some typical places that we may come in contact with germs or we may touch germs. On pencils, maybe you have a pencil. Sometimes people like to rest them in their mouth or hold them in their hand or put them behind their ear. And those are ways that we can touch the pencil and catch germs. Doorknobs. We all need to touch a doorknob to get inside, to close the door. And when we touch that, those germs are there. On shopping carts, I noticed that a lot of stores are cleaning our shopping carts to help us stay healthy. And door knobs for cabinets, drawers, things like that. Those are all places that are heavily touched that we can find that they may have germs. Now it's time for our experiment. Did you gather your things? If you didn't, just make a list and you can work this out with us at another time. So first, you need black pepper. So I've put a little bit of pepper in our bowl. I'm going to add a little bit more. If you have already ground pepper, that's fine too. You don't have to crush it, but you need a good dose of black pepper in your bowl, and that should be enough. Next, you need to put a small amount of water in your bowl so it kind of swims around. And next, you need a second bowl, and it needs soap. I've added a little bit of soap, but I'm going to add a little bit more because I want my fingers to be nice and clean. So the first part of our experiment is thinking of germs and them getting on us and how we can track them. We just talked about a few places where there are typical germs. So just pretend that we're going to touch a doorknob, and our finger is going to be our whole hand, and we're going to put our finger in the bowl, and the pepper is going to be the germs. Do you think that you may know what would happen when we put our finger in the bowl with the black pepper? Well, let's try and see. So I'm going to put my finger in the bowl with the black pepper and find out what happens. I'm doing a simulation of touching germs. So when I pull my finger out of the bowl with the black pepper, I'm looking at it and I notice that I have lots of granules of pepper. There are so many that are on my finger, and some of them are like microorganisms. They're super small. And I'm looking on the front. I have some under my fingernails. I'm looking on the sides and the top. I have so many germs, or pretend germs, all over my finger. How do you think we're going to get those germs clean? Do you have an idea? Do you have a clue based on the things we have on the table? You're absolutely right. We're going to use the soap. When we wash our hands, it helps to get rid of the germs. So I'm going to take some time to put my germy finger in the bowl with the soap. And I'm going to swish off some of those germs. So now my finger's all covered with soap and it's ready to fight those germs. Do you think that our soap is a great germ fighter? It totally is. So now I'm going to take my soapy finger and I'm going to put it in the bowl with the germs. What do you think is going to happen? Do you think those germs are going to like that soap? Do you think they're going to stay and attract to the soap or detract from the soap? Are they going to try to run away? Or are they going to try to go to the soap? Let's see. Here we go. I'm going to put my finger with the soap in the bowl. And when I do, those germs get scared and they run away. I want you to try to do this experiment at your house and see what you come up with, and so that you can know if you are a super scientist and you can make those germs fly away super fast. I want you to try it. All right, let's keep going with our lesson. All right, so now it's our PLTW story time. Our story is going to be about some kids that are going to be infection detection scientists. Here we go. This is Sick Susie. Sick Susie is with her friends and she looks pretty sick. I noticed that she's coughing because she has her hand over her mouth. Some of her other symptoms are she said that she had a sore throat. She was with her friends and she told them that she didn't feel very well. She covered her cough when she coughed around her friends by using her hand. But guess what happened to that hand? Yes, it got germs on it. She used hand sanitizer to get rid of those germs, but she said she still wasn't feeling well. Then she went over to empathetic Angelina. When she was with Angelina, Angelina noticed that her friend felt so sick. She put her hand on Susie's head and then she noticed that she felt warm. It's possible she has a temperature. So empathetic Angelina encouraged Susie to go to the school nurse and tell her about her symptoms. So why should Angelina encourage her friend to go to the nurse? That's right, because the nurse helps us. The nurse helps us by doing some detection herself to find out what our symptoms are and how they can best help us. So she told the nurse that she felt warm. She told the nurse that she had been coughing and she had a sore throat. And last, she was tired. And then, mathematically speaking, Milo, he was there investigating the scenario, watching Susie and Angelina. And from that, he was thinking about all the people that may have been affected by Susie and her symptoms. So he's thinking in his head, in his speech bubble, and he's thinking about Angelina, and she had coughed, and maybe her germs had spread to the other people in their classrooms. So he's thinking about all the people around him in his classrooms who had the same symptoms. Maybe they were at school, or maybe they were not at school because they were still feeling those symptoms. And he was thinking, how should Milo and Angelina protect themselves from getting sick? Because they noticed that the friends around them were getting sick also. Can you think of some ways that they can protect themselves from getting sick? I'm wondering if we can make a list. How can we get rid of germs, or how can we keep the spread of germs? What are you thinking? I know, we could wash our hands correctly. So what are some ideas that we do to wash our hands correctly? I noticed that we can do a demonstration. Can you practice with me? Maybe you take some time to go in the bathroom or have a talk with your mom or dad. How is the correct way to wash our hands? All right, so when you get to the bathroom, here's what you do. First, you turn on the faucet. Then you get some soap. You rub that soap around your hands. You want to get it in between your fingers. You want to rub your fingernails together. You want to rub your wrists, the fronts, and the backs to make sure you get the soap nice and saturated around all the parts of your fingers. Rub in between your fingers, scrub your nails, scrub the beds of your hands. And I'm wondering if you could do it for a duration of the happy birthday song. But you're going to need to sing that happy birthday song 2 times. Or maybe you like to make up your own song about washing your hands to help you remember all the steps. So, after you finish washing your hands and singing for 2 times of the happy birthday song, then you're ready to turn off the faucet. But before you do, you want to grab your paper towel or your towel that you use at home and turn off the faucet so your hands stay clean. So then you turn the faucet off and you can finish drying your hands. But if you have a door, you want to use that paper to open the door so you don't get your hands contaminated. After you get the door open, you can throw that paper towel in the trash can so your hands stay clean. So let's go over that again. Washing our hands. Turn on the faucet. Get some soap. Wash all around your hands. Wash the insides. Wash the back sides. Don't forget your wrists. Wash in between your fingers and your fingernails. Your insides of your hand beds. The tops. And then you're ready to rinse. Make sure you rinse and get all of those soap bubbles off that you've done while you sing the happy birthday 1, 2 times. Or you can make up your own song. Grab a towel, turn off the faucet, then open the door with that towel, and then you're ready to toss the towel in the trash. That will make you a super scientist that knows how to get rid of germs and wash your hands correctly. All right, so let's have a quick review of all the things that we need to do in order to wash our hands. Let's think about how Milo and Angelina investigated to protect themselves, to keep the germs away, and to stay healthy. What are some things that you noticed? I noticed that Sick Susie, she first recognized the symptoms that she had to help her know whether or not she felt well. She felt tired. She felt that she had a sore throat. And she was coughing. Those are all things that were not her normal self. And she was able to tell a grown-up. Who was her helpful, empathetic friend? It was Angelina. That's right. Angelina helped encourage her to go to the nurse. When they got to the nurse, they were able to tell the nurse all about her symptoms so that she could get help. And then there was Milo, mathematical Milo. He was really thinking in his scientific way about how all the germs were spreading. He was thinking about the symptoms that people had that were in their classroom and how they had gotten sick. And then finally, the team worked together to decide on what was the best way to keep themselves from getting sick. So, for your homework, I'd like for you to conduct this experiment. For your experiment, let's go over the materials that you need. You need black pepper. It can be ground, or you can buy some that's just going to shake out. you'll need a bowl to put that pepper in. Once you get your pepper in your bowl, pour a little water so that it can swim around. The first part of your experiment, you're going to dip your finger in your pepper. It's going to be a simulation of you attracting germs. Once you get those germs, you want to investigate to see where the germs go. You should have germs all over your finger, in your fingernails, around the outside, and on the top. And you can really see how those microorganisms or those germs can be teeny tiny or larger. But those are things that we barely see with our natural eye. Next, you're going to clean your finger. It's your simulation of washing your hands. So you're going to take that germy finger with that pepper and place it in your soap and swish it around nice and good and clean up all those germs. Take that soapy finger, because it's ready to be a germ fighter, and stick it back into your bowl with your pepper and watch those germs scatter. They do not like that pepper at all. They don't like those germs. And then finally, you're going to wash your hands. Make sure you remember the steps to washing your hands so that you don't forget all the things you need to do so that it can keep all the germs away. Now, you're ready to be a germ fighter. I'm sure you are. I'm sure you are a super scientist and can conduct this investigation. When you get done, show all of your family how you are a super scientist and we can fight those germs together. This has been Erica Mabian for Kansas City Public School KCPS Homeroom. I'm your iSpark STEM coordinator with the CTE department. Happy learning!